Hi. Time for Family Read Aloud. We are finishing up our series with some poetry this week. Yesterday we started this book, One Last Word, this book of poetry by Nikki Grimes. It's Wisdom from the Harlem Renaissance, published by Bloomsbury. Yesterday we talked about the type of poetry that Grimes uses, which is called the golden shovel form of poetry. And so we read a poem by a poet from the Harlem Renaissance, and then Grimes takes it and uses the golden shovel form to construct a new poem. We're going to finish it up today. Okay? Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time I's been a-climbin' on and reachin' land-ends and turnin' corners and sometimes goin' in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you set down on the steps 'cause you find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now, for I's still goin', honey. I's still climbin', and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. Lessons by Nikki Grimes. Withered and wise, I might as well sift memory for the hard lessons you, my son, most need to learn. Though how I'll choose which stories to tell, well, I'll just share a few with you. I roll out the years of my life, step carefully looking out for Daddy, who'd drink, then try to skin me 6 ways from Sunday. Lord, I ain't had it easy. From birth my days have been choked with an endless rope of no. No bread in the pantry, no meat, no crystal slipper like the one Cinderella left on the stair. Once Sheriff pounded on our door. It's day before Christmas and he had come, waving a notice to lock us out. Words sharp as tacks. I prayed under my breath, welcomed him in with tears and kindness. Notice went missing, never did find it. Work was hard to come by for our kind, and I scrubbed floors till my palms were beds for splinters. Threw my back out one year and had to sleep on wooden boards, the only way to ease muscles strained and torn. Still, come morn, I was glad for work and reason to get up. Home was nothing but 2 rooms and a pull-out bed, though there were worse places. At least we had cupboards with a little something inside. No steak on the table or rich man's carpet neath our feet, but still, we kept the heat on, and we'd throw dance parties for rent when the money got tight, push back the sofa and clear the floor. Truth? Life can be sadder than a willow stripped bare. Empty pockets turn you inside out, but, son, don't mind what's missing. Count all that's free, friendship, laughter, all the love your heart can carry, and time. Count time. Busted heart near took me out here, 'cept I was too stubborn to leave ahead of the plans I've been making to see you fully grown and a-climbin' your own stair. Till then, best I just keep on. Life's stair twists, rises, scrapes the sky, and there's light ahead worth reachin'. Aches or no, year by year I clear the landin's. Son, them nights you serenade me, off key, and spin me across the floor, turnin' my smile on, help me round rough corners. Last month, power shut off again, and I bumped round, scrambling for matches. Sometimes I light birthday candles before you can get going with a good cry 'cause you're scared. I start in singing happy birthday to me, like the lights are out just so the candles can shine in the dark. Hate going without power, but what if we lived where women got no rights? Kids work the mines. There are worse things than no lights. Ain't you heard your grandma's stories? She'd been down south back when folks like us had no chance to vote or walk free, even in the daylight. A body gets tired climbing, so you rest every once in a while. Hear me, boy? Take a few deep breaths so you don't collapse along the way. You watch how I pace myself, how I turn stubborn instead of turning back. Went to Washington once. Don't expect you to remember. You were just a peanut then. The minute I set foot on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, down came hot tears, streaking my cheeks, falling on my collar, all because Mr. Lincoln was the one saw to it you and me could plan our own steps. Didn't always like school, 'cause this one girl, stocky as you, would snatch my books and run till she finds a mud puddle, drop them in. Life, it's full of mean people, but also kinder ones who clean your books before the mud dries hard. No matter what, don't let a few mean people shake you till your young dreams lose their feathers and fall. Hide those baby dreams in the cage of your heart for now. Your mama's got a surprise for you, withered as I am. I's got a dream or two still, a itch my heart keeps scratchin', goin' after like a bee on the hunt for honey. Life's stairway's got dips, spirals. I's dizzy sometimes, footsore and faint. Still, long as there's breath in me, I'll be climbin'. I feel the tug of tomorrow and grab hold of the railing of life. Can't guess what's left for me to find, do, be, but hear me. Son, I'm climbing on and I ain't leaving you behind. We've been bred of sturdy stuff and no rough time will stop us. Don't need no crystal slipper to reach the top of the stair. As the Eagle Soars by Jean Toomer. It takes a well-spent lifetime and perhaps more to crystallize in us that for which we exist. Let your doing be an exercise, not an exhibition. Man is a nerve of the cosmos dislocated, trying to quiver into place. A true individual is not conformative, but formative. We move and hustle but lack rhythm. We should have a living spirit and the ability to spiritualize experience. We do not suffer. Seldom does our essence suffer, but pride, vanity, egotism suffer in us. My breathing is the great breath broken into nostrils. Whatever is sacred. No hamsters here by Nikki Grimes. Son, it is all too easy to let this world's bullies puncture your pride, set you on a wild goose chase of doing whatever crazy thing it takes to show them. Don't be a hamster on that wheel. We real men know it's only an exercise in futility. Shake off any insults. Exercise your unique talents to learn, grow, be your best. Not to prove anything to anyone, though, that may well be an added benefit. Life is an art, son, not an exhibition. An excerpt from To Usward by Gwendolyn Bennett. Let us be still as ginger jars are still upon a Chinese shelf, and let us be contained by entities of self. Not still with lethargy and sloth, but quiet with the pushing of our growth. Not self-contained with smug identity, but conscious of the strength in entity. In Search of a Superpower by Nikki Grimes. Children, umbrage has its place, but sometimes we must let small injustices and the casual spray of invective spit at us roll off our backs. My grandma would say we'd be better than such meanness. Show hatred the door and be still. A calm demeanor may masquerade as weakness, but looks deceive. Uncut ginger appears an ordinary, worthless root, till open jars of it infuse the air with a tang so strong you are bound to blink. Hours later, its power lingers still. On difficult days, gather your resources in silence. Rely upon the perfect, poetic justice history always has a way of delivering. The ancients, Africans, Chinese, knew how to master patience, leave small annoyances on a shelf. I know inner strength is an old man's game and you are young yet, but this life won't let you hang on to your innocence any more than it let us. The world can be a dangerous place and you must be prepared to face it with more grace, less swagger. Contained power is the goal. The mean strut you naturally come by gives too much away. Superman, Wonder Woman, these entities disguise their true might, understanding the advantage of hiding their abilities in plain sight. Each maintained a secret self until those moments when his or her controlled force, not fury, was required. They were the model of cool. Still, at times, Clark Kent could play clumsy. Even so, with his zeal for truth and news, none would accuse him of lethargy. He moved fast enough to stay ahead of the game, and you must too. Walk with measured steps, always intent. Even the sloth has purpose. Ha! Wish I understood that when I was young, but I was all brash and stomp back then, never quiet, never noticing how or where I stepped or with whom. Not all movement is forward. Better to be like the tree grounding itself by sinking roots downward while pushing upward through hard-packed earth in search of sun. All done silently, mysteriously, right before our eyes. Confidence can rise as stealthily as the redwood's growth. Cockiness is something else altogether, a thing not to be emulated. Better an easy laugh and a pride self-contained. Any thug can pretend manliness with a crude swagger, a nasty smirk, or a smug attitude. Mark my word, rudeness makes for a poor identity. Stand tall, head held high at all times, but bow humbly when the occasion warrants. Be conscious of the treasure of your mind and heart, the pride of your ancestry, the debt you owe those who came before. The future requires steadiness, perseverance, strength. Gifts you access with the key of your will. The power you seek is in sight. Look in the mirror, own yourself. You are that entity. Hope by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Frail children of sorrow, dethroned by a hue, the shadows are flecked by the rose sifting through. The world has its motion, all things pass away. No night is omnipotent, there must be day. The oak tarries long in the depth of the seed, but swift is the season of nettle and weed. Abide yet a while in the mellowing shade, and rise with the hour for which you were made. The cycle of seasons, the titles of man revolve in the orb of an infinite plan. We move to the rhythm of ages long done, and each has his hour to dwell in the sun. On Bully Patrol by Nikki. 1. My youngest limps home feeble and frail from a week of hate-filled reproaches aimed at dark children. I pull her close, wipe away the tears of the day. Still, draped in sadness, sorrow clings to her like skin. My sweet princess dethroned. I shape my love like fingers, pluck the splinters of hate one by one until my child smiles again, a glow rising in her warm brown cheeks, a happy hue. 2. My 6-year-old self remembers the sting of slurs, the hurt that rubbed raw, sent me to the company of shadows. Call it the terror of two. If you are too dark, too skinny, too tall, too whatever, you'll be flecked with pellets of meanness, most always by bullies with wounds of their own. I've seen the scars they hide, each jagged as a red rose thorn. You'll be fine, I tell my youngest, sifting my own memories, seeing how the light shines through. 3. Long ago, war snatched my daddy, tore the heart out of mama, out of our world. Thought I'd crack from the weight of hurt, but time has a way of teaching that life finds its own balance. It swings up, swings down. The motion sweeps us along notwithstanding. We all suffer bad days. When tears threaten, breathe. Things will lift like morning mist. By and by you'll pass over each bridge of trouble, see the sadness drift away. 4. I watch my youngest leap like gravity's got no hold on her. You'd never guess there was a night she took sick, her spirit rising near to heaven as the sun is. I scraped my knees raw, pleading with the omnipotent one. Got the answer I was after, or there would be no me laughing at my daughter's antics. You must remember to give thanks, I tell my girls. Be grateful that darkness burns to ash in the flame of a day. 5. My eldest, too, like me, payment for the pain I caused my mother because I was stubborn as oak. Worse yet, again like me, my first child tarries over each assigned task far too long, ever seeking impossible perfection in the doing of it. Never mind, the symmetry she desires is beyond human depth. I sigh, recalling the ultimate value of such doggedness, the strength implied, the sturdy beauty of a stubborn seed. 6. Notice, traits of beauty tend to inch along in growth, but habits mean and horrible are devilishly swift to sprout and spread. The spitting of the truth is one such to avoid. Plant a false word at dawn, the lie is harvested by noon, no matter the season. Nail biting may be harmless, but beware of tendencies to cheat. A bad habit, like a nettle, leaves a scratch upon the soul, and who needs that? A bad habit is an ugly weed. 7. Friday arrives with the promise that my husband will abide with his girls for more than a minute. Yet one can't be certain work won't steal him a while. Come Saturday, though, he dons a grilling apron in the evening and sends savory scents wafting into the summer air. Count these times, precious girls, Dad mellowing in the yard, then chasing your mama for a kiss in the shade. 8. Intent on peering into tomorrow, I squint and wonder who my girls will grow to be, how they'll rise to find their place in the sky. Begin with whatever makes your heart sing, I teach them. The dream that clings to you every hour. That's the key to what you're here for. To write, dance, build bridges, which is an itch in your soul. I'll tell you a secret. Your longings were already carefully carved. Your true purpose long ago made. 9. My eldest, anxious to lean into the dark abyss of the teen years, begins the cycle in a terrible hurry to date. But I am of a mind to make her wait a while. The seasons of life already swing by faster than the hem of a hurricane. Hard to explain titles to one who's never gotten her feet wet, of course. Still, she's too young for the arms of a man. 10. When I was her age, my thoughts did not revolve around boys. Education was a thing on my mind in those days. Mom harped so long on learning, by high school the whole of my cerebrum was an orb stuffed with history, geometry, and the plays of Shakespeare. Earning a place in an accredited college and graduating with honors was of infinite importance. As for the cost, Daddy said he had a plan. 11. I must teach my girls how uncelebrated we lay tomorrow, brick by brick. Move forward through wind and storm, from winter to winter, often without benefit of praise or the occasional pat on the back. We sweat to the rhythm of sunrise and sunset. Hard work? Never heard of another kind. Grandparents taught us as much ages ago. Now it's our turn to pass it on. Before long, a future built of sweat and dreams will finally be done. 12. Today, I remind them that hate-filled reproaches and mean-mouthed people have no real power. Each living soul, no matter the hue, has the right to choose her path or his. We heal or wound, build or break, make of each hour what we will. Choice is our treasure. It is up to us, when tempted to swell in anger, to dwell instead in peace, wherever we can find it. In time, we discover that the path of right always leads to light, to sun. The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. David's Old Soul by Nikki Grimes. As far back as I can remember, my mother has called me an old soul. I never understood, but now that our family has dwindled to just Mom and us kids, I've grown into a man. You do what you have to do, David. Dig deep, is the whisper in my ear. So I stand strong like a tree my brothers can lean on. I try to be the raft that helps carry them over this life's rough rivers. Part 3, To a Dark Girl. To a Dark Girl by Gwendolyn Bennett. I love you for your brownness and the rounded darkness of your breast. I love you for the breaking sadness in your voice, and shadows where your wayward eyelids rest. Something of old forgotten queens lurks in the little abandon of your walk, and something of the shackled slave sobs in the rhythm of your talk. O little brown girl born for sorrow's mate, keep all you have of queenliness, forgetting that you once were slave, and let your full lips laugh at fate. Through the Eyes of Artist by Nikki Grimes. Ariana. Your complexion cries out for brush and canvas. I rush to gather raw umber, yellow ochre, the Indian red I love, pondering the perfect blend to capture you in this moment, certainly, but also for eternity. Perplexed, you're unable to fathom my fire, your worth. Who has taught you to disdain your brownness? Never mind, I will teach you otherwise, and prove with lush layers of paint and pastel the true appeal of dusky brown multiplied and rounded off to the nth degree, deep as the darkness of the night sky we all speak of in whispers of awe. How you glow, your inner light as pure as the milk from a mother's breast. Quickly I brandish my brush, stub the canvas with colors I have blended to bloom before your eyes, to make you love yourself again. See the blue undertones? The hint of purple you have to squint to recognize? The touch of burnt sienna for warmth? The wash of crimson beneath the cheeks? The slim stroke of sepia is there too, breaking just beneath your eyes, marking the sadness hidden there in the soft folds. Yes, there is beauty even in sadness. Think of a symphony in a minor key, how your heart soars with the sorrowful moan of each instrument's voice. All right. The background set, I move on to the shading and carve the curve of each cheek, the sweep of nose with shadows. A wash of Van Dyck brown does the trick. But where will I find the color that will saturate your soul, paint a smile on your face, replace that lost and wayward glance with easy confidence? I sigh, but in the end your eyelids lift to view your brown beauty, and you smile, all doubt put to rest. Sophia. Your limbs were made for leaping, yet something binds you to the earth. Some lash made of history halts your steps, slows you like an old crone. Step lively, straighten your spine. Have you forgotten you come from African kings and queens? The false notion that you are nothing lurks deep in the bone. Let's beat it out and dance. Fling your arms skyward, flick the lie from your fingertips. Remember, your brown limbs are lithe and lovely. Now leap, arch your back, dance with abandon. Own your body and your mind. Let nothing resemble limitation of spirit or possibility define the way you hold your body, the way you walk. You are young yet. I have seen you bowed and shuffling. No more. Glide, strut. Keep your eyes pinned on something bright and blossoming up ahead, a future sculpted of dreams and promise. That is what the freedom riders fought for, that you need not live shackled by another's narrow estimation. There are many ways to be a slave. Spin, that's it. Let your limbs laugh. Sobs belong to yesterday. Time to trade them in for jazz hands or hip swivels or arabesques, the best expression of freedom. Let the rhythm of dance transport you to a tomorrow of noble design. Dip. Yes! Now lunge. Discover where your true potential pulses. All action, no talk. Tanya. Your life story is a tale worth telling. Oh, others try to squeeze it down into the little crevices of history where they imagine all brown stories belong. But pay them no mind, girl. I will ink the extraordinary story only you were born with. Trading tales is what we're meant for, whether marking our joys or our sorrows' sameness. Brown or not, every story has its mate. All right, my pen is at the ready. I'll keep it moving to the meter of your words, till all the metaphors necessary to describe you, from timidities to talents, have found their way into whatever pocket of verse seems most suited. Queenliness seems a fitting beginning. No, I'm not forgetting the tenement you live in, but that, my friend, is where you reside, not what you are made of. I was told once that true nobility is the crown of character. You were royal from your first kind word. Never were you a slave to meanness. Stubborn? Yes, and always sarcastic. That is until you let your guard down. Then your heart hums sweetly as a music box full of soothing melody, and your lips offer a world of welcome and a smile, a laugh, no matter how difficult your day. Is that not worth noting? At the end of your story, you're strong enough to write your own fate. Common Dust by Georgia Douglas Johnson. And who shall separate the dust which later we shall be? Whose keen discerning eye will scan and solve the mystery? The high, the low, the rich, the poor, the black, the white, the red, and all the chromatique between, of whom shall it be said, here lies the dust of Africa. Here are the sons of Rome. Here lies one unlabeled, the world at large his home. Can one then separate the dust? Will mankind lie apart when life has settled back again, the same as from the start? A Dark Date for Josh by Nikki Grimes. Proud as anything, I march into the house and tell Mom that Tanisha is my date for the prom. Who? She asked, shuddering like lightning struck her. You shall not, she says, without a trace of humor, to separate her words from her meaning. Right away I guess the ugly reason and stomp out, mouth dry as dust. I choke on words Mom used to say, we're all alike. Which is it, Mom? Blood steaming, I could scream. Maybe later. Now I stare at a photo of Tanisha and me, see how perfect we are. I don't much like Mom at the moment with her silly shall not. She's got me worried about what Dad's response will be. At dinner, Dad spies upset on my face and Mom's. Whose dog died? He asks, straining for laughter. Keen to lift the mood like a feather, toss it into the air. Discerning the tension in the room, he turns an eye on Mom, hoping for answers, realizing no joke will do the trick. His stare probes deep as an X-ray scan. Dad looks from Mom to me to Mom and back again. Unless I know the problem, I can't solve it, he says. I count to 10 then. I'm taking Tanisha to the prom, I say in a rush, ending the mystery. Will he implode like Mom, forget all the lessons he's taught me about equality? Desert the high ideals he preaches? I don't understand, he says. Is the girl an axe murderer? You know her to be of low morals? What? I exhale long and slow, feel the sweet tug of a smile teasing my lips, hear the rich, righteous exactly explode in my brain. That's the Dad I know. But Mom's once generous spirit seems suddenly poor. I open memory like a book and find the boy I played with next door, the friend who was less black than mocha and cream. We seemed like two sides of the same coin all through grade school, and my white family liked his black family just fine. Mom always said the blood that flows through our veins is exactly the same, red. She should know. She runs the neighborhood beauty shop and prides herself on being the primary colorist all the ladies ask for, black or white. She understands the alchemy of hue. Brunette or brightest blonde, at Salon Chromatique my mom lays hands on any and every color in between. From what I've seen, she gets along with all her customers, pink-cheeked or chocolate, at least those whom I've met. I don't get how she could sing "We Shall Overcome" alongside some of our neighbors, then lose it the minute a brown beauty like Tanisha catches my eye. Be consistent, Mom. Do what you've taught. Live what you've said. Eyes closed. Mom peels back the years, leaves the here and now, explains the knot of fear that clearly lies inside her. When I was your age, I went to the prom with a boy as dark as Mississippi dust. It was just a dance, so I thought nothing of it till someone spit at us and yelled, "Boy, go back to Africa." I shiver, but say it's not like that anymore, not here. Dad's eyes say otherwise. I'm afraid there are roiling waves of racism in every generation. The present is no different. Still, I won't have any sons of mine surrender to the bitter current of the past. Let it ebb away, recede like the power of Rome. Silence pulls up a chair and sits here like it belongs. Uneasy is the only thing that lies between us. I hate these talks, wish there were only one race, that we could live the way we were born, unlabeled. Then we'd have no excuse to use the shape of eye or nose or hue of skin to carve the world into a million meaningless categories at first sight. Maybe then we might see that the planet is large enough for everyone to fit, for each to find his own someone, his own place, his own home. In school, we dissect frogs to see what we can learn. Funny how, on the inside, you can't tell one frog from the other. Another lesson wasted if you then run from anyone who seems unlike you. Why can't we wait to separate, to crawl into a cocoon of those wrapped in similar skin? In the end, every one of us is guaranteed to be just dust. When our bodies are bloodless and still, who will identify which bone came from canine and which from mankind? When time grinds us as fine as grain and we lie without skin or bone or heart, who will be able to tell us apart? I think these things but don't speak. Later, after dinner, when I help Mom clear the table, she sneaks in a hug, says, "Your life is your own, son. Forget about my fears. Your heart has to find its own home." I smile and tell her now that it's settled. "We're just going to prom, Mom. We're not getting married." She smiles back, and suddenly we're our old selves again. Excuse me. I call Tanisha before turning in, tell her about all the hubbub at my house. Find out she went through the same. We laugh and edge in both our voices. We act as if neither notices. We talk particulars like where to go from prom. From here, I can't tell Mom, but this isn't just a date. The prom is more like a test run for my heart. It's a start. Okay. No Images by Waring Cuney. She does not know her beauty. She thinks her brown body has no glory. If she could dance naked under palm trees and see her image in the river, she would know. But there are no palm trees on the street, and dishwater gives back no images. Blurred Beauty by Nikki Grimes. Today I trembled, jealous of the book she cradled close to her heart like a baby, the way a mother does. Lily. I haven't even said her name out loud, not yet, but it's tattooed on my soul. One day she'll know. Maybe tomorrow I'll speak, tell her to raise her head, lift her eyes, invite the world to swim in their dark beauty. I hate how Lily always hugs the wall, how she pretends to be invisible. She thinks or hopes no one will notice her. But who can miss all that velvety chocolate brown deliciousness? The sun is not the only heavenly body. I wonder if she's ever been kissed, if any lucky boy has brushed those lips with his. I hope the answer is no. It's my heart she holds. Lily's first kiss should be my glory. Look how she hangs her head as if she weren't born a queen, as if she doesn't know she could rule with a smile, could lift one little finger and make the whole world dance. That's the pure truth, all of it naked. Queen Lily, can you see her lying on a beach under a scorching sun, royal guard cooling her with a fan of palm leaves? Everyone and everything bows to her, even the trees. She rises from a short nap and walks to the crystal water's edge to see it, to see if she can find a shell that holds an echo that sings in her ear. But all the water offers the queen is her own image, surrounded by a halo of sky lovely in its symmetry. Burnished by the sun, Queen Lily dives into the cool of the river. Yeah, I'm a dreamer, but Lily, she brings that out in me. If you saw her, you would understand. You would know. I whistled at Lily when she passed by today, but she didn't turn or look up to see me standing there. I wonder, does she stare in the puddles when it rains? Are there mirrors in her house that show her what I see? No one with such luscious lips should ever cover them with the palm of her hand. Hold your head high, Lily. Stand proud as trees. Ignore those fast-talking, know-nothing guys on the avenue, describing you with the twisted words self-hate taught them on the street. Tomorrow I'll speak and I'll whip you up a gourmet dish of compliments, sweet words you can use to water the garden of your mind. I'll find a clear pool that gives you a true reflection of sturdy brown legs, gently swayed back, the black brows that frame eyes I want to drown in, and no, I'll just show you my heart. Look there. Study the images. The Minor Key by Clara Ann Thompson. Oh, for a song, the poet sighs, to stir men's hearts and make them rise to heights of nobleness, a song whose clarion notes will ring long after I have ceased to sing, and heal life's bitterness. Alas, this is the fate for me to ever sing in a minor key. 1,000 hearts echo the sigh. Brave hearts that struggle on alone with aspirations pure and high, with deeds forgotten or unknown. They hear the proud world laud the great. They watch the cheering crowds go by and bitterly lament their fate. Oh, foolish heart, subdue that cry. What matter if the world forgets thy deeds to laud, thy tale to tell? If God remembers, all is well. With him who sees not as we see, no life is tuned to minor key. Common Denominator by Nikki Grimes. Anger is a hard itch to scratch, laughter a secret tickle we let out in 1,000 sneezes, sometimes to camouflage cracked hearts. Love, envy, fear, we all hear their echo. Peel us to the core, we're indistinguishable. Press the solar plexus of any, you'll hear the self-same sigh. I Leave the Glory Days by Nikki Grimes. I leave the glory days of the Harlem Renaissance, swim to the surface of the bowl of years and take a sweet breath. Standing taller than ever, I feel full of something strange and delicious. Hope. Teacher was right, the past is a ladder that can help you keep climbing. I find my sister in the living room, surprise her with a tight squeeze, and swing into the air. We're going to be all right, sis, I whisper. You and me, we're going to be okay. I know life will be rough, but we've got the stuff to make it. And that's the end of our book. We'll have one more day of poetry tomorrow. One more book to share with you. For Family Read Aloud. Okay, I know we ran a little long today, but I didn't want to rush through it, and I didn't want to. But it was good to read it through today. Okay. Take care. Bye.